That minhag Chabad is that we don't have the Makri announcing Tekias, Truah, etc. And here you have a comment of the Rebbe by the table upstairs in the Frierdiker Rebbe's house, in an apartment in 770, by the Yom Tov meal, by the Rosh Hashanah meals apparently. The Rebbe says that the idea of having a Makri is written in Alter Rebbe's Shulchan Aruch. It says, Makri said at Tekias is a minhag yofehu. And that was also the minhag in all Chabad shuls. And he says, when I was in Rostov, by the Frierdiker Rebbe, by the Rebbe de Shver, that was the first time I saw Tekias without a Makri. So the Rebbe was, in other words, the idea of not having the Makri announced seems to be a relatively recent hanhoga, starting from the times of the Rebbe Rashab. You can see that in the Oitzim and Hogi Chabad, you can see a bit more history. But it doesn't seem to be much earlier. Bear in mind that the Rebbe's father, and his Zayda was by the Rebbe Marash. So they would have, if they had no Makri then, they wouldn't have had the Makri, in Nikolaev and in Dnepropetrovsk, etc. It seems to be a more a recent thing. One derher. I'm just, it's just my own hair about it. We have Lamosha when it comes to Sukkah. So the Indian of having Noya Sukkah is mentioned in the Mishnah, and yet we don't have Noya Sukkah. And one of the reasons for this is that we don't want to detract from the Sukkah. Does it mitzvah Sukkah? And under the Zachen, as attractive as they are, they're actually distracting from the. So when you have here a fine chazan, in a way, possibly, that is a bit of a distraction from the koil poshet. Shofar is meant to be a koil poshet, sinishkin chazonis, and possibly that's why at some stage it was dropped, and instead the Makri just points to the place rather than announcing. Okay, Doesn't the Makri. Okay. So now we go on to another question. Because of the Magefa Rahman al-Islam, so many shuls are making outside minyan. So now someone raised the shaila about koirim. When it comes to bowing down, there's one place in Aleinu on Rosh Hashanah, Aleinu in Musaf. So we bow down, we prostrate ourselves, and in Yom Kippur it's several times. I think it's four times, five times. So the shaila is there a shaila on prostrating yourself in the car park floor, which is an asphalt surface? So let's take a look. There's a din in the posuk in Torah, ve'even maskis lo yisitnu ba'artzachem lishtacha v'soleho. You're not allowed to prostrate yourself on an even maskis. What exactly is an even maskis? Does it mean a stone which is decorated? Does it mean just a flat stone which is covering the earth beneath it? There's different discussion, a different part of Meforshim. Actually, to read up on this, I took out the Encyclopedia Talmudis, volume Aleph, which had a whole entry on even maskis. And here, where is it brought in Shulchan Aruch? It's not actually brought in. The Mechaber doesn't bring this isur of bowing down on even maskis. Here we have a quote from Tachnun, the dinim of Tachnun, which is every day. It's in Siman Kuf Lamed Aleph and Erechayim, and you have the idea of Nefilas Alponov. So we have here now the Ramoy, if we can see it on the screen. V'chein osel l'chol odnu lipol Alponov bepishut yadayim v'raglayim. Afilu im ein shom even maskis. Generally, it's discouraged. The whole idea of prostrating yourself totally, even is discouraged, even if there was no stone there. Avol im noitek tzas al tzidoi, if it's leading to one side, im ein shom even maskis, that would be okay. V'chein yasu b'yom kippurim k'shenoifel al pneihem, im yatziu shom asabim kedei lahafsik ben hakarka v'chein noyagin. So to put asabin, to put herbs or grasses or a piece of carpet, that would be okay. Now, this is where it's become the minhag in many shuls, which is mentioned in Matei Ephraim and mentioned in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, that they put down a carpet or something, a piece of paper or something in front of the people as they bow down. In Sefer HaMinhagim, it says, the word is like this, that If it was a stone floor, then of course you have to put down something, because you have a issue of bowing down on Eben Maskis. The shaila is, do you go to a loy plug? So Mate Ephraim took the view of a loy plug, and therefore, even on a wooden floor, even on a carpet, they would always put something down as an extra. Whatever the cheshbon is there, you can look in the Kalim. And that's where Chabad are not particular. We're not particular to have an extra cover on a wooden floor. But if it was a stone floor, of course, you would have a problem. Now, what's called a stone floor? So now we're coming back to our shaila. So there's two questions here. One is an asphalt surface a problem? And the second one is, when you put down a cover, where does it have to cover? Under your knees or under your head? So let's deal one at a time. I was once in mikveh, and there was someone who was a Lubavitcher, obviously, doing his tvila, like a tvila kadag. He was spreading out over the whole mikveh. And one of the other users of the mikveh was complaining, and he said it's a shaila because it's like mishtacha ve'alev and maskis. I don't know, perhaps such a dvar Torah he could say in mikveh. Why is it not a problem? So I said, I didn't say afterwards. I thought I looked into it, that the din of Evan Maskis is only on a stone. The mikveh is not lined with stones. The mikveh is lined with ceramic tiles. On ceramic tiles, there's no shaila of mishtach ve'alev and maskis. So what about a granite tile? So here the poskim, the contemporary poskim, are concerned, they bring from Abu Yashiv, who says that a granite tile should be seen as an ephon and shouldn't be bowing down without a hefsek. Having said, even taking that on board, it's not one stone, it's a composite. But I don't think asphalt would qualify as a stone by any stretch, because asphalt is not put down in slabs. It's put down as a mush of there's little pieces of gravel inside it together with tar, but it's poured down like a liquid, like a cement. It's not, I don't think it qualifies as a stone. Having said that, if I would be outside, I probably would put something down on the asphalt just because of cleanliness rather than not because of any halacha consideration. Coming back to where do you have to put the cover, the hefsek, the Noisekalim, the Meforshers say the hefsek should be primarily under the head. So it's not to protect your trousers from picking up the dust from the floor. That's a balabatish cheshbon, that's also a cheshbon. But the ikir is that the cover should be where you put your head down, that you shouldn't put your head down mamash on the stone. Chabad has got a curious minhag. It's curious. It's got a mokir in Rishonim of after the Shvorim to have an extra piece. And Rabbi Lu is here. I asked him to confirm before, but I'm just going to do the Shvorim the way I'm used to, and I might be slightly wrong, but it's a bit erech, that's the way we do it. You can see here this is from Oitzim and Hoge Chabad. You've got three. First of all, that we blow the Shvorim different to the Velt. The Velt do three straight sounds. We have dafke 3 notes. So we do each shever is made of 3 notes. Now there's a reason for that, because there's a whole machlokus of what's a shkita. If the shever is too long, then it becomes like a small tkiya. So if it would be a straight note, then it's more of a chashash. If the shever is too long, it becomes like a kleina tkiya. By the fact that you make it in 3 different notes, it doesn't look like a tkiya. That could be the hesber why we'd have to do it in 3 notes. And then there's also this extra piece. And someone asked, why is it not a shaila of a hoisofa, of another coil? Because between the shvorim and the following tkiya, there shouldn't be a hefsek of a unwarranted sound of the shofar there. Why is this extra piece not considered a hefsek? And the answer, l'chayre, is that hefsek is if you stopped and you took you took a breath, etc. There was a hefsek between the shvorim and another little sound, and then the tkiya. Then we'd have a problem of a hefsek. But if the extra piece is immediately flowing right after the shvorim, then I don't see it as a problem of a hefsek. Lo me gehen weiter. Then we have the question someone asked,